Obviously, they need to hear it from somebody who can articulate it and also show them a life story that has played out in that manner, because I come from a lot of the places they come from, and I've seen and made a lot of the mistakes, and here I am doing the right thing. And it wasn't easy, but again, just sometimes we plant the seed, and I use the cheesy analogy of cicadas. Sometimes it may take 15, 17 years for that hatchling to come alive. And that's how long it may take a seed that's planted in a young adult or a young person to stick. Something bad might happen, and then they remember that thing you said, or that guy, or okay, my brother jokingly calls me a square now. My other friends told me I lost my street credibility. And that's fine by me. I don't care. But
that's the exact point that I'm making.
Those things are cool when you're young, and they're not cool.
Not even when you're older, dude. I'm part of some dad groups, and like these dads just act crazy. You know what I mean?
Men will be boys.
Men will be boys. Yeah. And I get it. I wouldn't say that I'm a square, but I don't drink and I don't go out partying. And I've been with my wife for almost 20 years now, married for over 10. And I definitely agree that when it comes to parenting, it's leading by example. It's not telling people what to do, but it's do what you do, and then other people will be attracted. That's the way I look at it. On this topic of this wealth gap, or feeling like you're caught, you're hopeless, you don't have a father around you don't have the opportunities around you. I think that, and this might piss some people off, but I think that excuse is so played out. Like, we're going through one of the most transformative times in human history right now. Artificial intelligence, AI agents, robotics, cryptocurrency. You're looking at the change in the way that we communicate at scale. Everything is changing so fast. And I don't know what the right mindset that someone should have right now. If you have access to a phone or a computer and internet, I feel like you could do some amazing things, but you need to start somewhere.
The playing field is more level than it's ever been. I don't care how poor you are in this country, how black you are, how Hispanic you are, how underprivileged you are, how disenfranchised you are. The truth is, the tools for success are available. Are they equally available to everybody? Of course not. They're still, open for discussion. The ability or the access to the internet is something that a lot of poor people still lack, no matter where they are in the country. But to your point, I agree. And that's a perspective shift. That's a glass half full versus half empty mindset. And that, my friend, is the only thing that is going to allow people to succeed. We are in a time where we have a mental health crisis. I think it's baloney. I think we have a lack of effort crisis, because everything comes so easily in the form of this beautiful curse called the cell phone. We live in a generation where everything is available at the touch of a button. I was talking to a young man yesterday who articulated his struggle trying to find jobs. He submitted 500 applications to get 50 responses. The majority of them were refusals, but only 10% even bothered to respond and say no, and maybe 1 or 2 yeses or follow-ups. I don't know what your age is, but I used to carry an envelope with resumes and have to fill out every application individually by hand and go have a conversation with the manager on site. That's how we looked for a job before email. So again, perspective. This generation has the phone at their disposal. They have artificial intelligence. What are they using it for? Unfortunately, they're using it to pass the time, to be entertained. Their Instagram or social media feed is full of nonsense, not positive, productive, educational feeds. Artificial intelligence is being used to create baby memes or baby video voiceovers right now instead of the real power of AI. I have this limited amount of resources. I have this skill set. I live in this area of the country. This is my zip code. What's a good business idea for someone who's 17 and has limited means? You can literally ask ChatGPT that, and it'll give you 10 answers. But are they doing that? So yes, access to information has never been as readily available, but neither are distractions. And I think people lose out to the distractions. So there's never been a better time for a go-getter to win. I think there's less competition than ever, and I think it's going to thin out even more And you mentioned the disparity in wealth, the gap between rich and poor. And every great empire falls when that gap becomes too great between the haves and the have-nots. And it's sad to say, but I think we're heading in that direction, just like every other great civilization in the history of the world. And I think that's where the tug of war is right now. You've got the people that are feeling a sort of way, like something's owed to them, the entitlement. And then you have people that are going to go out there and get it, no matter what. And that difference is simply mindset. Because given all things, you and I could be the same exact person on paper, genetically, almost. We have the same things at our disposal, but one of us might make it and the other one might not. And that's a matter of what you said, which is mindset. So I think school is never going to teach us those things. That's why I go and I teach mindset over everything else, because people do not realize they're telling themselves a story. What story are you telling yourself? The story that the system's out to get me, it's not designed for me to win, or hey, maybe things are not equal, but I have the ability just like anybody else, and I deserve to win. I deserve to have the best that the world has to offer. But that's a mindset shift that unfortunately, many people just aren't aware of. It's almost like the Matrix, man. And a lot of people are still asleep. The majority of people are still asleep.
Well, it's hard to break out of that too. And at church this last weekend, the pastor was talking about you're one choice away, because one choice leads to another choice, leads to another choice. And you have compounding interest on every choice that you make. And I thought that was really good. So every time you decide, I'm not going to flip on the phone, or I'm not going to flip on Netflix, or I'm not going to smoke that, and instead you replace that with another choice to read a book, to make that call, to reach out to that person you haven't spoken to in a while, to watch that 15-minute long YouTube video that teaches you how to create custom GPTs for businesses.
It's not that hard, right?